Billy Hobbs, True Blue Customs. I create custom wearable art pieces. That's kind of the best way to say it with sneakers. Mainly sneakers, but I paint basketballs, walls, bats, you name it, skateboards, whatever. I love what I do just because of the art side of it. Like I love being creative, but I also love meeting new people and telling a story, whether it's, about a lost family member or a championship you just won. It's like everybody's got a story, and it's kind of my way of bringing it to life through a pair of shoes. I've been a loyal watcher for months now, and
we appreciate
I've been waiting, man.
We appreciate that, man. Let's say y'all see this now. Give him about a few hours or a day or two. It's gonna be True Blue customed out. All the designs on it. What's next? All that good stuff. He's gonna put his print on that. So I'm excited for that. We'll definitely see what that'll come to.
Everybody just thinks that's all I do is shoes. I'm like, no, man. I'm more than that, man.
What's up, guys? I'm your host, Mario Maitland. This is What's Next podcast. We're back again with yet another episode. It's been a while, a few weeks. We really got to do a better job of getting more consistent episodes on track, and we're definitely gonna get better at that. But I'm bringing you a great guest, one and only True Blue Customs, Mr. AKA True Blue. Welcome to What's Next podcast,
Thank
my
you
man.
for having me. I appreciate it.
It's gonna be a great
episode.
episode.
Waiting, man. I've been waiting. I've been watching. I've been a loyal watcher for months now. And
we appreciate
I've been waiting, man.
We appreciate that, man. I know last time I saw you, I think we were at the UK baseball game, and we got a chance to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, that was an awesome game. A perfect event.
For sure, man. For sure. Great atmosphere out there at KPP.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. KPP is awesome this year, man. Just the way we packed it every game, it was awesome. It was great just going on that ride with those guys.
No, for sure. Sad to see them lose in Omaha.
Yeah.
I know you talked a little bit off camera that you were going to go to Omaha.
Yeah, we had plans.
Weekend.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, we had been texting. He's like, man, if they win this, we're going.
For sure.
So we had already, made our plans, and we were going to take a road trip. So.
I was going to say, speaking of Kentucky baseball, you actually did one of your recent projects was for Kentucky baseball. Talk a little bit about that and what that came out to be.
It's pretty cool. The University of Kentucky, I've been working with them for years now on all athletics, all across the board. It's the first time I've done something that crazy with baseball. Last year we did some postseason shoes, when they went to the Super Regional and all that. We did some Air Force Ones, and it was cool. It was kind of low key. This year we did almost 80 pairs, for staff and support staff and players, coaches, and it was quite the undertaking. I mean, and then prior to that, the week before, we had softball that was on their tournament trail, so we had another 40 or 50.
So
for
you
those
had
guys.
to do something for the softball too?
Yeah. So I had probably within 3 weeks about 130, 140 panda dunks.
It's a busy
man.
Oh
yeah, it was a mess. It was everybody's wondering where pandas were. They're not extinct. They were all here.
They're very busy. And then Mark Pope, you did some shoes for him as well. It's very cool shoes.
Yeah, and I was here, and I even told Coach Pope, I was like, you know what, I partially blame you for me tearing down a telephone booth on Euclid in '96. But because that was my '96 was my first championship as a fan. 78, I was alive, but I was 4 years old.
He was young.
Yeah, so '96 was my first. This is Kentucky basketball, and I growing up, my whole family UK fans, and that's the way it was.
Bleed blue.
Yeah, we bled blue, and it's like to be able to go back and get to do something for Coach Pope was pretty awesome. He's a genuine dude. He's he's exactly you've met him, exactly what you see on TV.
He's like that in person.
He's that dude, man.
Absolutely.
He's that dude.
Is it weird though seeing him as the coach now? Because
it is
as
kind
a player.
It is kind of because I'm still and then hear people call him Coach Pope, and I'm just like, yeah, that's Mark Pope, But I'm excited, and I love Cal. Don't get me wrong, I love Cal and his tenure here and what he did for, and I know you were a Cal guy, because that's all you knew, but Cal did some great stuff here, not just for basketball, just
for the community,
for the community and the entire state, and it's like I'll never forget that. And I got to know him on a smaller level. Some days he would know who I was, some days he didn't. Depends on what was going on. But I got to create a bunch of cool pairs for him over the years, and that was a blessing. That was really fun.
Man, speaking of the pairs of shoes that you've made for so many different clients, I have the list here, and I just got the short version of the list.
I forget a lot of mine too.
Yeah, I have the short version. I'm gonna name the short version of the clients that you work for, that you've made shoes for. You got Pope Francis.
Oh yeah, the Pope. Yeah, we can't forget the Pope. Yeah.
You can't. L8, which is, I'm probably saying it wrong. Kentucky.
L8.
My Kentuckians.
Yeah, L8. Yeah.
L8. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Drake.
Yep.
John Calipari.
Yep.
Mark Pope, of course. Willie Cauley-Stein. Malik
Yep.
Monk. We can keep going.
Yeah. All the UK guys.
All
the
the
guys
UK
that,
guys.
all those guys
pretty
that came
much.
through here.
Reed Shepard, a guy who was just here last season. Man, do you ever surprise yourself when with the amount of the quality of clients that you get?
You know, it's I always tell people it's kind of like a gift and a curse. Like when I first started doing this, a lot of the guys that did this, that's all they wanted to do was like celebrity stuff, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. That's awesome when you see a celebrity, like seeing Cal wear my shoes at Madness, or Coach Mitchell, Matthew Mitchell, when he would come out and dance. He was always wearing my shoes. So that was awesome. But it's like, the culture is kind of taken to, that's all people care about. And I'm just like, man, I did some stuff for this kid that has cancer 3 weeks ago.
Like, I want
to talk about that, you know? And it's like, maybe it's just me getting old and just seeing so much of it. It's like, I love doing stuff for the celebrity stuff now, but it's kind of like, it's not as surreal anymore. It's just kind of a job now. For sure. But it's amazing to be able to meet these guys and knowing like Pope Francis has a pair of my shoes at the Vatican. Man, it's like, how crazy is that?
That's
so
insane.
that's, it's cool that knowing certain guys have, my artwork in their, they may never wear them. Like Drake's got 3 pairs, I think, that I did for him. Whether he's worn them or not, who knows?
You made it. That's
but
great.
it's like, it's cool. Like, for instance, Snoop, the night he wore, or they gave him his shoes at Rupp. I saw like a Instagram live video that him getting off the plane. It was the last tour of the Up and Smoke tour. The last stop was Lexington. Flew back to LA, and he kind of went down with his camera, and he had the shoes on. I was like, and of course it was in the middle of the night, and I'm like freaking out, like, oh shit, So that was cool.
Not bad.
Tom Brady, it's like, it's cool. And Shaq, I did a pair for Shaq last year.
And you don't just do shoes; you do like cleats and other stuff as well.
Right now, like baseball season is nuts. Like you'll see around here, I've got stacks of baseball cleats just all over the place. Just because that's probably about 80% of my business, I would say, is spring training till October, and it's just not. And those guys, they don't send one pair; they send, like for instance, Alex Verdugo plays for the Yankees now. I did 38 pairs for him last year. Oh my
goodness!
Yeah, and they're not just like simple colorways. They're like, and now he's with the Yankees, so it's like I'm doing a taxi cab themed. I'm doing Statue of Liberty, which is fun because those are my favorite to do. Is like give me a theme and let me run with it. So it's been fun. That's my favorite part of that part.
So what's the process like? Like, walk me through. Like, obviously they contact you or whatever the case may be. Do they give you a timetable that they're looking for it to be returned at? Like, what's the
a little bit of everything? Pretty much, you'll start out. You'll tell me kind of what you have in mind, whether it's a shoe or basketballs or whatever, and then we kind of go in the process of what you have as far as the theme. I prefer to be told, this is the theme. This is what my ideas. Do your thing, which a lot of people do, and I feel like you get a better product that way because it kind of lets me create and lets me vibe and do my thing. But once we get going, figure out the type of shoe. And then that's when everything starts in here. It's like the ugly work. You got to strip it with acetone, like a leather-based shoe, like these, for instance. Like these are all taped up. This is all stripped with acetone. That way the paint will stick. Because otherwise, as soon as you walk, it's just going to chip and crack and flake off. So the prep work is the biggest part. Taping up, that's probably 2-3 hours total. Stripping and taping, that's just to get it to that point. That's without shooting any paint at all. So so yeah, a shoe will, from start to finish, a pair of Air Force Ones probably is 5 to 7 hours total.
Okay, so not too bad.
Yeah, some cleats, like I've done some pairs that have taken me like 18 hours, and I'm just like, gosh, I'm working for minimum wage right now, But it's like, it all kind of works out in the wash. But
that is definitely tough, man. I wanna ask you. I got a pair of Dunks. Which, Courtney, can you grab those for me? And I wanna.
Oh yes, Pandas.
I got the classic Pandas. These don't get that much love in the
but we can hook them up like that.
In the general world today, they kind of have that.
It's just a general release like Air Force One.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all see this now. Give them about a few hours or a day or two. It's gonna be true blue, customed out. All the designs on it. What's next? All that good stuff. He's gonna put his print on that. So I'm excited for that. We'll definitely see what that will come to. All right, so let's get to the serious questions. I want to ask you, obviously how do you balance the expectations of the client wanting something and then you kind of putting your freestyle on it? How does that look like for you?
It's hard. Just every client's different. You know, sometimes you got to kind of break down the process of like, your idea may sound great, but once you put it on a shoe that actually has shape, you know, like your whatever design you're thinking
in your mind.
Yeah, you may think it's going to look great, and even if I do a mock-up on Procreate on my iPad, it may not turn out. It'll not. Actually, I was going to tell you, it'll never come out like the mock-up. It'll always be a little different, just because once you get into it, like I feel like I get hamstrung if I get into the job and it's just like I have to have this here, and I'm like,
So they got to give you some wiggle room
yeah,
to be
you know,
creative.
and it's like when I was first starting this, I was kind of like, I took everything. I was hungry. I wanted to do everything just to get more experience and try to do stuff for people. But now I'm to the point where I'm like, I only want to do stuff that's fulfilling for me and for you. I want you to feel comfortable. Like, okay, I paid Billy to do this pair of shoes. I'm happy with it. He killed it because he was into that job. I don't want you to come to me and leave thinking, I don't think Billy's feeling that, you know, but we'll see. I don't want that. I want you to be like, Billy's hyped up about this. This is going to be a dope pair. That's, you know, so I'm kind of to the point now, like, I got to learn to tell people no sometimes. Like, I just don't feel that.
That's
you know,
not
you
gonna
know,
work
and
for you.
it's hard. You know, it's hard because I'm like, I want to make everybody happy. I'm a people pleaser, man. It's like anybody asks me something, I'll bend over backwards and do it. You know.
So you would say the best option is really to make you kind of be creative as much as possible.
Yeah. If you tell me a
theme,
theme, you know, like you say, if Mario says, "Hey, I want a what's next theme," and you say, "Hey, I want make sure I want the logos back here, colors, this, that."
And then you make it. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
And that's the way I am with like my stuff. Like when I get, like I got my little hot rod I got out there. I had a buddy of mine that he's a younger guy and he's learning to pinstripe, and he came a couple weeks ago and I'm like, dude, I want you to do some hand striping on my car. And he was like, so like, hey, are you okay with this? I'm like, dude, trust me. This is what I do every day. Do your thing. I had you do this because I trust you. You know,
Nice.
I don't need you to draw up a bunch of mock. Just do your thing, man.
Do your thing, man.
Yeah, and
I feel like it comes out best that way.
I feel like almost everything that I do, if I get, you know, if you give me the, like I can stay with some boundaries, but don't
gotta give me
don't
wiggle room. I need some wiggle room.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So how did you even get into this stuff? Like what made you fall in love with, you know, being able to make custom shoes?
Well, growing up, it was nonstop. I was a big time sneaker.
Are you a big sneakerhead?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna play a game.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna play a game. I'll name my top 3, but it'll be I'll go first, you'll go first, and then I'll go again.
Yep.
But we can't have the same shoe. We got to name 3 shoes.
Are we starting at 3 to 1? Or are we going?
Well, yeah, we'll do 3 to 1. It can't be the same shoe. Okay, I'll go first. This is my top 3 favorite shoe. I'll go, and then you'll go, and then I'll go. I'm gonna start off with the Jordan 11 Breads.
The Breads.
Yeah.
Okay, I will see your Breads with a Concord 11 is my
Concord
third.
11s. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Air Jordan 1 Chicago's, the OGs.
Yeah. It's funny you're going to go to a 1, so I'm going to go to a 1. I'm going to go the Royal 1.
Okay, I like the Royal 1.
Yeah, Royal 1, and then your number 1. If you steal my number 1, I'm going to be mad.
Number 1 is tough. My number 1's gonna surprise you though. I'm gonna go number 1.
It better not be a LeBron or something.
No. Honestly, I'm not a crazy fan of LeBron shoes. No knock against LeBron, but I'm gonna go with the 14 Black Toes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. See, that's a little. I was too old by then. I was buying my own shoes by the time the Jordan 14 came out. Mom and Dad were like, "Nah, Billy, you're on your own." So my goat is, it's probably a tie between an Air Max 95 Neon and a Black Cement 3.
I was gonna say the black.
Dude, when the Black Cement 3 comes out, like I probably got 4 pairs out there on that wall. Like every time they come out, I'll buy 3 or 4 pairs. I've got a pair to mow in. I got a pair that I paint work on my car.
You're a big
in.
threes guy.
Oh yeah, I'm a 3 guy.
I got the right shoe on then.
Ones, 2s, and 3s are my that's which is what I grew up on. You know, it's like I remember like when the Jordan 4s. It's so funny. We didn't call them 4s. We just called them the new Jordan. That's what we called them. So this is like '89, and I remember. I had the military blue 4s, the ones that just released like a month or 2 ago.
Yes.
I had those, and my buddy had the fire red 4s, and we went to Kings Island. I remember my mom taking us to Kings Island in her back of her Camry. We took our Jordans and set them up in the back window of the Camry.
Back windows?
Yeah, it's always Cincinnati. We were stunting.
Everybody
could
see them. Yeah. I know what you mean.
So it's like, that's what I grew up on, which was like, it's a big sneakerhead. You know, that was my thing. And then I was always into art too, and it kind of, when I got, it was probably early 2000s. It was Nike Talk was like one of the message boards.
Yeah.
It was really before social media, so it was just message boards. And I started doing custom work on there, and it wasn't any paint because the paint that they made back then kind of sucked. It didn't hold up on shoes. It wasn't really made for leather.
Right.
And the process, nobody really knew the process of how to do it. So I was taking like printable fabric and making designs, printing it out on the fabric, cutting it, gluing it to the shoes. And I had a couple clients like in New York that were doing Air Force Ones. They were like, they loved the Uptowns. And this is like early 2000s. So I did that.
So you're doing like for friends and
yeah, just random people that I knew on this message board, this Nike message board. And then fast forward to probably 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
My son's, he was probably 10 or 11 then. He starts getting into shoes. So I make a couple custom pairs for him and his friends. And then a buddy of mine named Jamie Sawyer, I'm not sure if you know him. He used to work at Foot Locker. Great. It's one of my old friends, like sneaker friends. He had a pair of 1994 Jordan 3 black cements that he wanted restored.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Can you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try, whatever." So anyway, I restored them and they came out amazing. So he's like, "You need to start an Instagram page." I'm like, I don't. It was a little side hustle is all it was.
Was that the shoe that kind of like sparked it off for you?
Yeah, I did that for him, and he was like, "Start you an Instagram page, man. You'll be able to start doing restorations and little custom work." I'm like, "Whatever." So my name on the Nike Talk was like True Blue KY or something. Yeah. I was like, I'll just do True Blue, whatever. That was one of my favorite Jordans.
True Blue, yeah.
I was like, all right, we'll do that. And then I made my Instagram page, and then I don't know. Actually, Tyler Eulis was my first guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my first guy. It was funny because he reached out through a mutual friend, said, "Hey, can you do some Jordan 11s?" So I did some. He had some Concords. And gosh, if Tyler sees this, he's gonna know those Concords were beat. But I hooked them up. They turned out so dope. They were blue patent leather, and I had like an old like a hat that I think I cut like a little UK logo off. And it was like one of my first UK guys that I'd ever had any interaction with.
That's awesome.
So he rocked those, and then Willie reached out, and then Alex, and then
the train effect.
and then it just snowballed, and then here we are. So.
And you're doing this while you're working at Pepsi, right?
I'm working at Pepsi. Yeah.
What was that like, trying to balance the two?
It was tough, yeah. It was funny. My guy that I used to work with, used to be like best friends. Phil, we'd ride around a truck all day. It's all
shout out Phil. He's probably watching
shout out
this
Phil
right
Deskins.
now.
Yeah, we'd ride around, and we spent 10 hours in a truck together every day. So like he would always drive, and I'd sleep half the day, and all day long I'd be like, all right, man, we gotta go pick up some shoes from this guy. And he's like, so we were like driving Pepsi truck all over Lexington picking up shoes. Yeah, that I was working on, and.
That's funny.
It's kind of funny when it's looking back and how it started and where it is now. It's kind of insane.
And obviously you had to take the big risk because you worked for Pepsi. You wanted to turn this True Blue Customs into more of a full-time thing.
Yeah.
What was it like? Just being able to bet on yourself and be able to take True Blue a little bit more serious.
It was very rewarding. Once it started, it was actually cool. I thought it was probably cooler for my kids than it was for me at the time because my son was probably 11, 12, he's in middle school, and I was doing his cleats. My daughter, she was a couple years younger than that.
Yeah.
We had like Willie and Alex and Derek Willis, like those dudes would just come to the house and hang out, and it's so funny.
So it's cool for them.
It is. It's because they were like, it's like one of my favorite memories is my old house. We had my ceilings were kind of low too, so we had a ceiling fan in there in my other house.
They're tall though.
Oh yeah, Alex walks in, and my daughter's probably 5, 6 years old. Laying on the couch, and Alex walks over, and the ceiling fan hits him in the head, and she dies laughing. She's like, "You are stupid," and I'm like, "Kids," and I'm like, "That's just crazy." And then one time, me and Willie, or actually my wife and Willie, we're all sitting there talking about like Marvel because he's like a big, anime nerd. He loves comics.
Yeah.
So when he would come by, him and my wife would just sit and talk Marvel and all that for hours.
Wow. This is with Willie.
Yeah, with Willie.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So like my son's asleep on the couch, and he wakes up, and he's like, "Will you all shut up? I'm trying to sleep." And we're like, "What's this dude's problem?" So it's cool. I think back of those memories of my kids, awesome. And they getting to be able to meet these guys, and
that's awesome.
Which is ironically, they're not even real UK fans. Like they kind of like numb to it, I guess. But
for sure. And that's a while back, and now we're kind of.
Oh yeah, my son's 23, going on 23. Yeah. My daughter's going on 19.
Times are changing. Times are changing, man. Speaking of times are changing, why do you think, or I guess how do you adjust the times that are changing? Like how do you be able to stay creative in a time that's always evolving. You know, new trends are coming out every so and so. How do you do it?
It's hard. It's extremely hard, especially being an older person. Like I said, I'm almost 50. Like the deal with I don't really even talk to a lot of the players now. Like I'm kind of like in the same boat as Matt was. Like when the early Calipari years, I was in my mid to late 30s, so I was still kind of relatable. I mean, me and Reed Shepard are not hanging out. Like, Reed's a good kid, but he's like, we're not. Me and Rob are not hanging out. Like, I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. I'm not. I mean, I don't do stuff the kids do, man. I'm just. But I try to stay as close to that scene and that culture as I can. So I kind of stay track of what's kind of hot and what's not. But honestly, for a while there, like this whole business just changes every year. It's like the Roshi. Do you remember the Nike Roshi?
Yes, I do. Yeah, those are not even in style anymore.
And dude, I bet I did 15,000 pairs of those. It's like insane how many pairs of Roshi.
That's very popular. Yes. That I remember.
Yeah,
the
Roshis. I would have to do orders at a time. I want to order 40 pairs of Roshis and just do USA themes. Like people ate it up. So, we had that like 2 or 3 years of all that. And then, crazy. Whatever Jordan's out, it kind of changes as like whatever shoes are being released. And, like the baseball guys are going crazy now. Like they love like anything custom, which I think everybody's going to always love custom something just because you can't just get, a Jordan that's got your company logo on it,
Yeah.
So I've kind of toned down to being like more specialized to taking care of certain like companies. Like I do a lot of corporate work now too, like businesses that, they want something for their CEO or they want something for a group of donors or, so.
Is that stressful for you just trying to?
Honestly, it's a little bit easy. I like it better than dealing with the general public just because like I know what my expectations are coming in. They know. So whereas somebody that's never ordered a pair of custom shoes, they don't know. I mean, I'd say, hey, it's 10 weeks. Okay, well, 3 weeks later, they're messaging me saying, "Hey, bro, how's everything going?" Like, I love you, man. I appreciate it, but
process,
it is a process, and that's the hardest part is getting somebody to realize the process without showing them the process.
Craziest demand. What's your craziest demand that somebody put an order in they want?
It's baseball, all baseball.
Baseball?
Season. Yeah, like it wouldn't surprise me today if I get a pair of cleats in the mail and they call me and say, "Hey, can you have these shipped tomorrow morning for Monday delivery?" Yeah, it happens all the time.
That's insane.
I try to take care of a lot of my guys like that because that is, it's like you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So I do a lot of work with my baseball guys. So
shout out to the baseball guys. Yeah. Killing it.
It's funny. You would think that they would know when July 4th weekend is, though. They wouldn't call you like 3 days before.
They don't.
Yeah, you would think, but
I don't think they care.
No, they don't. They don't.
Man, you're a walking example of turning your passion into your career. What's your advice to anybody who wants to turn their passion to their career? Their everyday living.
Hustle, just hustle and grind. And social media has changed so much. Like when I first started doing this, social media was a little bit different. It wasn't as crazy as it is now.
Yeah, even I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard. I made a video and I actually posted yesterday. Like I quit taking commissions a couple months ago, and it's just I'm trying to eliminate all the noise. If I would have done this 10 years ago, I'd been probably in a better place. But it's like you get on there and you start reading comments and you start reading. Yeah. It's like, dude, I've learned that. I don't do it. Like I don't even look at my likes anymore. As soon as I post something, I always turn my likes off, and then it is what it is. I don't care because you have no idea. Like something that I think is cool, I'll get 30 views, and then I'll post something else that is so stupid, and it'll get like crazy. Like 200,000 views. I'm like, what is going? Like I gave up. I'm trying to understand it. So my advice is just grind, and don't let all the outside noise get in. That's one thing that I probably did a little more than I should have when I was getting started was because I was eat up with the celebrity factor of it. And it's like, oh man, I get to do stuff for it's awesome. And don't get me wrong, it's great, but you kind of got to stay grounded and humble.
Balanced.
It's hard, man. That's the hardest part, especially when you're dealing with people like that, because it's easy to jump on and say, oh well. People want to tell you you're great because you're like, no, I'm not great because I did something for Calipari. I feel like I'm great because I worked my ass off. That's my mentality.
I like that. Yeah. That's an awesome mentality.
Yeah.
You talked about, you do work for the celebrities, you do work for, the high profile people, but there's also work that you do for, cancer patients and all the, underground people that you might not know. What's your favorite all-time custom that you've made?
Wow.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I always say, and I say this every time anyone asks me, it's always the last pair I did, is what I always say. But My favorite probably has to be, it's a story like Willie Cauley-Stein when Willie was here. Do you remember the little boy, Blake, little Team Blake, with the little boy that had cancer that was like a big Willie fan? Willie went and hung out with him, went to his house. And
Did he really? Wow.
yeah, so I have to go back and find some pictures. But what we did is the year I did some, Willie had some Jordan 11s, and we did gold patent leather to look like it was supposed to be like the ring ceremony that Ray Allen wore when he played for the Celtics. They were gold patent leather. They were nasty. So I did those for him. He wore them in the first round of the tournament and like dunked on a kid from Cincinnati, and we haven't seen that kid since. So he like murdered him. And that's actually the shoe that I went to bed that night on a Thursday night and woke up the next morning, and like my Instagram and everything was crazy. Yeah, because every blog picked them up because nobody had seen a gold Jordan 11. Yeah. So
wow.
That's kind of what.
So it had it was the Jordan 11, but I guess the midsole was gold, platinum.
The patent leather was gold, and then the sole I dyed blue.
We're gonna put a picture up. Yeah.
And then so anyway, Blake was his name, a little boy named Blake. I think he was like 9 at the time. He had cancer. Willie became real close with him, so we had an idea. It was like, let's do a pair of shoes to match Willie's. So his mom and dad snuck a pair of shoes for his. He had a pair of Concords, sent them to me. I did them to match Willie's. And then I took my daughter with me. We went down to the craft center. We was out waiting outside in the parking lot waiting for Blake to get there.
Yeah.
He thought he was coming to town because he lived like probably 45 minutes away. He thought he was going shopping with his parents.
Yeah.
They pull up at the craft center and he walks up and he's like, holy shit. Like there's all like Willie and Alex and Trey Lyles. So we go down in the locker room and let him and give him his shoes in the locker room. It was the best feeling ever. I mean, he was smiling from ear to ear. So yeah, it gets me teared up just thinking about it, man.
That's what it's about.
It is. It's like I will never forget that. That one was awesome. And recently I did a pair for a little boy in Georgetown that I'm sure you saw. Easy. Everybody's like Easy Strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was in a car wreck and like a little boy played baseball, which I'm a sucker for that. Like I've coached baseball, my kids played, and he was like, I didn't think he's ever going to play baseball again. He had like a broken neck and all kinds of stuff. So I did a pair. Like somebody reached out and said, "Would you be willing to do a pair for him to help lift his spirits?" I'm like,
duh.
Sure. Yeah. It's like I don't need you to post it and share it. I don't care. It's like I want to send me a picture. I'd love to see him smiling and happy. And now he's back playing baseball. I think these last 2 weekends he's been playing again.
Awesome.
So that was awesome just seeing the story of that.
You got a lot of cool stories, man.
There's a lot, man. I forgot so many. Like every time somebody's like, "Who's your favorite client?" I start thinking. I was like, "Dude, I don't even know."
Let me think.
I don't even know. I work with so many cool people, so many cool, clients, and I'm blessed. I really am blessed.
You are blessed.
It's
man.
like
That's what's up.
I never thought that 13 years ago that this would turn into this. I had no idea. And it's probably the most stressful job, but it's still the most rewarding because I get to do what I want to do. I work from home. That's probably the hardest part. I used to tell people, like, my bedroom used to be on that side, on the other room. Yeah, I was like, the hardest part is walking from my bed past the couch. But once you get in here, I'm good, And that took a couple years getting used to working on your own and having your own schedule. And
you talked about sometimes you get stressed a little bit, just trying to balance everything. Like, how do you unwind and what do you do outside of just creating custom shoes?
When you got here, you saw my little car covered up out and also the car in the garage. I've seen some of your cars on social media. I've been into cars my whole life. I used to be really big into lowriding and like Cadillac, hydraulics and all that.
So
and
cool.
As I've gotten older, my dad was always an old hot rodder. So during COVID, I was like, we had talked about building a T-bucket, which is, a lot of people call them like the little Munsters car, the little blue car you've probably seen videos of.
Yeah. Is that what you call it?
It's a T-bucket, yeah.
Okay, so those are so cool.
Yeah, we had been talking about building one for 20 years, and I finally told him during COVID, I'm like, Dad, let's do it. You just come up here and help me, we'll build it. So that was our little COVID project. Now we're building my wife the one that's in the garage now.
Awesome.
So, but that's kind of like my little release. It's like I've always been into cars, and it's, that, and then my family, my wife, which we're kind of empty nesting now. I've got 2 kids that are, one's grown and out of college, and one's almost grown and in college, and kind of dealing with the midlife crisis thing and trying to figure out our next move. My wife and I, and my mother-in-law lives here with us, so it's kind of just life is life in these days. I just kind of
For sure.
I try to stay motivated, and I try to keep my head down, and You
Killing
know,
it. You're killing it.
It's been fun, but I yearn for like the cool projects, you know, like that one, and hell, even yours, you know, just something cool, and like this pair right here.
How about yeah.
This is a little top secret pair. I can't show too much.
Who's that for? What is?
It's Ron Howard. This is my girl. Ryan has been. She's been great, like since she was here. So of course she's in Atlanta. She plays for Atlanta Dream. So we're gonna do that's an Outcast pair.
Very
it's gonna
cool
be a
pair.
little collab of all of Big Boy and Andre's their top albums. Some of my favorite albums anyway, which I don't think Ryan was even alive during some of those albums when they were released. So, but yeah, that's my girl. So she's super. She's good people. Super good people.
Shout out Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Shout out Ron Howard.
Yeah. We're cooking some stuff up for the Olympics for her too.
Cool.
So that'll be cool.
So any other, besides the Ron Howard, any other projects that you're going to be getting into?
Actually,
La Familia is coming up.
Yeah,
I took it out your mouth.
Yep. Which is cool. I actually just met with Twanny and Brittany last week. We're doing a little something cool for the guys and getting me a part of it. Yeah. And that's awesome. It's almost like the perfect ending to the Cal era for me. Because like I see all these names, like
they're all coming back.
Like my old dudes, like Willie, the twins, Tyler,
coming back.
Yeah, it's like, man, I can't wait to see. Like, me and Willie already talked. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna see if you can fit in this T-bucket, bro. I was like, cause you know he's a big car guy too. He's got like an old '64 Chevy.
Yeah.
He's got a couple old trucks. And that's what me and him talk. We always talk about. We don't even talk about basketball anymore.
About cars.
Yeah, we text. We just text pictures back and forth of our cars, and you know, I'm more than just shit. Like a lot of people, that was my whole video yesterday. It was like everybody just thinks that's all I do is shoes. I'm like, no, man, I'm more than that, man. You know, like sure. I love my cars, man. Like I love my little hot rod and my dog, and you know.
So to end it out, man, I asked this question to majority of my guests, and you kind of talked about it. You're more than shoes. So I'm gonna let you tell my audience who is Billy Hobbs without True Blue Customs. Like who are you at your core?
I'm selfless. I think I feel like that I'm always giving. I feel like I'm a giver. I don't really ask for a lot. Like I'm the dude that when my birthday's next week, the kids are like,
your birthday's coming up.
I'll be 49. Like I don't want nothing. Like I don't need it. I buy what I want. I just want my kids to come over. Come hang out. That's who I am. I'm a family man. I love my wife. I love my kids. I'd drop out. I would have quit a job to go see. I wouldn't miss my kids' games growing up. I was that dude. When I worked at Pepsi, I don't know how many times I've called in. Like, sorry, we got a baseball tournament, bro. You gonna give me my vacation day? I'm calling in.
I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, this is my kid, man. It's the stuff you can't get back, man. And that's one thing I tell a lot of people. Like when you have kids, man, you don't get that back. You can work your ass off for years and years and years, but you don't get those memories back, man. The money gets gone. Money's gone, but. Yeah, so I love it. I'm a family man. And I love being around my friends. I'm not a partier. I hang out by the pool. That's about it.
Chill, low key guy. I like it. I like it, man. Pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming out.
One and only Billy Hobbs, True Blue Customs. Y'all make sure. I don't know if y'all want. How do the people work with you? How does it work?
Well,
just reach out to
email me. Yeah, email me at truebluecustoms@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on any of my socials, which is pretty much at True Blue Customs on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just Google True Blue Customs. It's on there.
You guys have it. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment on it. We got another episode coming up in a few days. It won't be as long as we took from the last one. I promise you that. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure having you on, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's a wrap, ladies and gents.
So many